So, hello. I just finished reading Feeding the Soul by Tabitha Brown, by Auntie Tab, Miss Tab. A beautiful, creative artist and influencer and inspirer. I just finished her book. It was an amazing read. Thank you so much for your testimony. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and for listening to your spirit and the guidance of Source and God in giving written testimony for those like myself who are in need at that specific time in their lives to gain guidance themselves. So thank you so much for saying yes to God and His will and His way for you. Again, great book. And so while reading this, I mean, it's amazing how, I believe that people attract each other and you find people that mirror your stories, and how that can be on the spectrum of being mirrored through traumas in your life or being mirrored through healing in your life. And there's so many parallels between Miss Tab's life journey when it comes to career as in my own. And I wanted to read one portion of this and kind of talk about it and some other stuff that I wanted to share. This is a portion of her book, a paragraph from her book. It says, "It's okay to be discouraged. It's natural. But in the discouragement, find your courage. Find the courage to keep going. Very good things don't happen overnight. I'm a witness, honey. Remember, it took me 23 years. A friend of mine once said, can you imagine if 23 years ago, God said to you, listen, I will give you every dream your heart desires, but I need you to give me 23 years. Would you have said, yes? Or would you have said, what? That's crazy. I ain't gonna wait no 23 years now. And in this book, she discusses what those 23 years was like for her. And one of those portions is, from that excerpt, it stuck with me like, God knows the desires of our heart. We know the desires of our heart. And He promised those to us. But we don't get to decide what we have to go through or what we sacrifice or what becomes a part of that journey. Specifically, we are just pushed to endure through to get to the desires of your heart. And I wanted to talk about something specifically that she talked about, which is her journey through jobs. Miss Tab talks about her working at a call center, working for UPS. There was a couple of other jobs that she had worked for, and I gravitated towards those examples because through her work in those jobs, she found that she needed to be in those places because that's where purpose would take her, and that's where she had to be because purpose was leading her to these places. These are the stops that she had to make in order to get where she is. And that really felt true for me in my story. Just a year ago, I was working at Party City and working minimum wage, part-time, just in a place of needing to work for providing for my son and I, but also having to be an artist and still thrive in where I was, right? I'm an artist, but I'm working at Party City, which is not where they say welcome to the party, but that's not where like art is formed up in there working a retail job. And there are certain things where we feel discouraged in our path. Like, I'm like, how am I a ex-wife, single mom, college graduate, BFA holder, like have been on this and I'm here, right? And so I started to put judgment on where I was, and now I can look back and know exactly where I was discouraged, and where then God shifted where my focus was, where then I began to realize I'm here for a purpose, not knowing what that purpose was until the purpose came in the form of another job that I got offered while working at the retail job. And, through working there, it became like a check on my ego. Because I'm going to be honest, in my head, I'm like, I've been on HBO, I've been on at Sundance, I've been on, I've been on Netflix, I'm on Orange is the New Black. Ego in me is like, why am I here? How did I get here? Why is life still doing this to me? Instead of knowing that I'm learning a lesson where I am, and where I learn that lesson, I will be rewarded in that place. Working there in a beautiful, beautiful way provided me with the refreshing remembrance of why I love to be an artist, why I love to share words and stories and testimony to heal audiences, to heal people of the world, to tell true account of, and give honor and praise to past lives that have happened and the things that we wish for in our futures. And as artists, that's what we provide to the world, the visualizations of that. And being at Party City, I really did become back in love with the craft that is artistic healing, and dealing with strangers all day, meeting them where they are, even if they're buying a dozen balloons for their child's first birthday. Having compassion with people who don't look like me when they come in, or just being in the humanness of what could be looked at as a mundane part-time job or a less than place, or whatever judgment, again, that I had for myself on it. I gained so much knowledge and courage for myself and in what I know I'm here to do, which is heal through art. So as I'm going through this transformation from judging myself, judging judging negative, low vibrational thoughts on where I was, what I was doing, as I'm shifting out of that and starting to do other work and heal in other ways of my life, God and my ancestors in the universe began to open up to tell me, like, yo, you're also here as an artistic healer. You just happen to have gotten into this job to play this role. This is not who you are. This is a role that you're playing. You clock in, you clock out. So curtain up, curtain down. And I was able to kind of pour into the young kids who work there. I'm 32 years old. The kids I was working with, they're not kids, but they're in their early 20s. Just kind of starting out and embarking on their true adulthood, and me embarking and imparting on them like wisdom that I've learned on relationships, on moving, on credit, on whatever. And I'm still like, I'm still sitting here, but obviously they're here asking me, who's to say they had anybody else to ask that would give them the real, like I can, about being in your early 20s. So it became like a ministry for me, and God shifted my whole perspective of like, yo, I told you I would give you the desires of your heart. And so wherever I take you, it's going to be a part of getting the desires of your heart, getting your creative mind back in place. Because I'm telling you, like, while I worked there, I started to create so much because I felt like I was doing God's work by pouring into these kids, pouring into the customers, and just being nice and being lovely, and thinking and knowing, like, if I'm here to play this nice role, let me play this nice role in somebody's life and change their life, because this is their real life. And it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was such a beautiful realization for me. So as I'm doing that and as that began to change, and I knew that I would not be there, and I knew that it would be temporary, and I knew that I did not decide on the steps of how I would get the desires of my heart, but I did say yes to that journey. God ended up opening up a divine timing alignment where I was offered my new job that is clearly in a purposeful direction of my life, on the spot while working at Party City. And I now work for a company called Lead You, that is a umbrella company from the Society for the Prevention of Teen Suicide, which is about empowering kids and empowering teens about leadership and who they are, and being their unique selves and loving themselves and showing up for themselves and knowing that they are worthy. I got my new job at my old job because I was ringing up hats for my new boss. And so in that moment, I went back to a moment prior to getting the new job when I had been like in the aisles of putting stuff on the racks, and me like really having a moment of like, damn God, like where you got me, before it had changed in me and taken hold of where my purpose was taking me. I'm like, where you got me at? Where you got me at? That moment was like, I had you in here so you could get this right here. That goes into direct alignment with where you are, where you're going to be, and fulfilling your purpose as you go, and providing a way that is the path of least resistance. This book, her story, Miss Tab, your story, inspired all of that conjuring in my own heart and journey, and I just wanted to share that with somebody else because it's true. We may get discouraged, it is natural, but the point is to have the courage to change that thing around, because it is on time and you are living in purpose, on your purpose, with purpose. You will get the desires of your heart, and if you can take wherever you are as a learning situation, as a lesson being learned, as a workout for strength, for the longevity of your rewards coming up, I hope this offers the acknowledgement and confirmation that you've been looking for, because this book definitely did it for me. So that's it. Thank you again, Miss Tab. Thank you.